guys, welcome to another video, and today is another episode of Movie Review Wednesday, and we are back with another throwback Movie Review Wednesday. Yeah, it's kind of all I really got to say. First off, if you are new, thank you so much for taking the time to click on the video, liking, commenting, subscribing. All of that means the absolute world. And if you are new, this is how Movie Review Wednesday works. So the first thing I will do is I will give you the synopsis, tell you what the movie is about, we'll tell you what it is rated on certain rating websites, and then I will get into the review. I will tell you the good, tell you the bad, tell you what I liked, tell you what I didn't like, and then we will get into the point breakdown. Basically what the point breakdown is at the beginning of this year I decided I do not want to just randomly chuck rankings, ratings out the window for movies. I wanted to literally methodically have a way that I rated certain movies. So what I did was I sat down, I created a numerical system from 1 to 100 to rate these movies. So you guys will get that at the end. I will go category by category telling you what everything got, and then we will be on our happy and merry way. But today we are talking about another space movie. I know we talked about Interstellar last week. Today we are talking about a movie starring Matt Damon, that is The Martian. I am very excited to talk about this film today. I need to pull the synopsis up on my phone, so everyone just bear with me for a second. But again, if you are new, thank you so much for taking the time to click on the video, like, comment, and subscribing. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe. If you like the content, if you don't like the content, you don't have to subscribe. No one's obligated to, but if you'd like to, I appreciate the support. But without further ado, I think let's just quit dilly-dallying. Let's get right into the synopsis. So, when astronauts blast off for the planet Mars, they leave behind Mark Watney, played by Matt Damon, presumed dead after a fierce storm. With only a meager amount of supplies, the stranded visitor must utilize his wits and spirit to find a way to survive on the hostile planet. Meanwhile, back on Earth, members of NASA and a team of international scientists work tirelessly to bring him home, while his crewmates hatch their own plan for a daring rescue mission. 8 out of 10 on IMDb, 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, 80% on Metacritic. So I think let's hop right into the review, and first is the good, and the first good is Matt Damon. I mean, literally, a majority of the movie is just watching him and watching what he's going to do. Now, obviously, there are other characters in here that give great performances, but this movie is led by Matt Damon. It would not have been good if he didn't give a good performance, and he gave a great performance. He was funny at times. He was emotional at times. He was very real at times. He felt very authentic, and that was something that is hard to do when you're doing a movie that seems so far out of left field. Like, one of the points I'm going to talk about later is it's literally like Castaway in space. That seems a little far-fetched right now because we're just barely sending people up into space still as it is. I mean, literally, the two people from the SpaceX crew literally returned home today to Earth, which is, I love space. Like, this stuff's really cool to me. But for him to put on a convincing performance with all of that in such an unlikely scenario is really good, and I really respected that, and it was fantastic. The next point I was going to make is it is Castaway in space. That is, like, we've seen survival movies done so many times before. We really have. But at least to my knowledge, I don't remember ever seeing a movie like that done in space. And that was something that was done that was really, really awesome. And a lot of that has to do with, we had to see a lot of the science and a lot of the things behind that. And that's another point I wanted to make, and that I'm going to make right now, is the science. It's based off a book. And the author of the book, when he was writing the book, he contacted scientists. He wanted to get the science as accurate as possible, and he did. And that carried over into the film. The science, at least as far as I know, is very accurate to like actual real life. And we get to experience that, watch him make things like water, watch him plant things. What do you do when you are not on Earth and you have to compromise and make things new? We learned that, we saw that, and that was very intriguing for me. I was very intrigued by that. I'm not really the biggest fan of science, I never have been, the subject at least, but I was thoroughly enjoying the entire process because Matt Damon made it fun. He was funny. You know, we were watching like the web cameras of him like documenting everything he was doing, but he was doing it in a funny way. And without that performance by Matt Damon, it wouldn't have been convincing, it wouldn't have been fun, it wouldn't have been interesting. But Matt Damon led that, and he carried that, and that was, you know, it beckons back to Damon. he did such a great job in this film. It was just amazing. The direction is very well done here. I think technically this film is great. It's shot beautifully. It looks great. The composition of shots is great. And you are trying to shoot Mars. The only thing we have on Mars is a few rovers. That's all. We've never had a human on Mars. How do you shoot Mars? It's done so well. It looks so real. It's so convincing. And that's something that is done really well. And another thing is the emotion. The emotion of this film is great. I mean, it packs a great emotional punch. You see this man, Matt Damon, who is stranded, and there are periods of hopelessness, but he always comes around and figures it out, which is something that is just amazing, because you feel in multiple different moments that all hope is lost and that it's over. And that is something that was done very well, is that you felt that for him, and you felt like you were in his shoes. And that's all done so well. That's the writing, that's the direction, that's the performance by Matt Damon. All of that is amazing, you know, and I really enjoyed that, and I really, really respected that. The movie's funny, believe it or not, because the thing that's so great about this movie is a lot of times when you watch space movies, you're like, the astronauts are like superheroes. They're like super beings. Like you don't like I've seen a bunch of these, and you don't see them like, how do I say, like as real people. But this movie, you're just seeing them as real people. They are cracking jokes. They are saying things that we would say. It's not all sciencey all the time. You know, like there are certain lines, and I'm not going to say them because there's expletives in them, but there are certain lines that Matt Damon say that are absolutely hilarious. And you're like, wow, that's something that I would say. That's something that's really funny. You really connected to the cast because they were playing just regular human beings that just happened to be astronauts that got to go to Mars, which is pretty cool. That's something that's done exquisitely, is it feels like they're just regular people you would see, you know, your next door neighbor. And sometimes you don't always feel that. Sometimes they feel like someone that's a lot bigger than everything else, which isn't bad. I mean, you know, certain movies call for certain types. But this one, it just felt fresh. It felt good. It felt real. And that was something I really liked about it. The Iron Man joke is hilarious. It's a little far-fetched, and it doesn't seem so real. Like they had to maybe go a little bit off of the realness for that one, but I still thought it was fun. But with the good comes the bad. This film is not perfect in any way. It is long. It's long. I felt the pacing. Pacing is an issue for me. But the other thing is the villain. This movie, I didn't really think this movie needed a villain. Like, there is a villain in this movie. I'm not going to really, like, spoil it, because if you haven't seen it, I want you to go see it yourself. But there is a human villain in this. Usually on a survival movie, the villain is, like, nature and the survival itself. And that's, I believe that's all you kind of really needed in this film, was just let's watch him survive and see what he's going to do in space, something that we really don't know much about. But they added a villain, and that kind of, I don't want to say that destroyed it for me, but it was a bit of a turnoff. I was like, I don't really know about that. But nonetheless, overall, this is a great film. Those are just a few critiques I had. That's all for the bad, I'm going to say. We're going to get into the point breakdown right now. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a very enjoyable film. So we're getting into the point breakdown. Entertainment, 25 out of 30, I believe. 20, 40, 60, 80, 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 90. Actually, no, it's 25 out of 25. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. Performances, 20 out of 20. Again, Damon was fantastic. He really, really, really did a great job. The direction, 10 out of 10. Very well done. Writing, 8 out of 10. Some of the pacing, a little bit long. Adding the villain, didn't like it. So the writing gets a few points off. Emotions, 10 out of 10, like I already said. Cinematography, 9 out of 10. It's a very beautifully shot film. Pacing, 3 out of 5. I already said I had some pacing issues. Rewatchability, 5 out of 5. Automatic, 5 out of 5 points. So if you do the math, overall, that is a 95 out of 100. I really did enjoy this film. It's one I watched for the 100 Movies I Missed challenge, and I really enjoyed it. I'm very glad I did watch it. But guys, that is pretty much it. Let me know down below in the comments, What did you think of The Martian? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What were your thoughts? I want to hear them down below. Let's have a conversation. A few things real quick. If you have not followed me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram at FinaticFilms. It is the brand new FinaticFilms 2.0. Like, I'm posting more. I'm doing more stuff. Go check me out on Instagram. Follow me on Letterboxd. You guys will see all the reviews I do on Letterboxd and all of that jazz and all of that good stuff. Again, thanks so much for taking the time to click on the video, liking, commenting, subscribing. If you are new and you like the content, consider clicking the subscribe button. But guys, that is pretty much it. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.